So after finished EPI and then finished PPI and weave, it is crimp, and already you are acquainted with this term. You have heard about this term in textile fiber. Crimp is the natural quality of wool fibers. These wool fibers are containing waviness. A similar type of wavy structure is produced in yarn after weaving due to interlacement or due to bending of the threads. And that waviness is termed as crimp. And this crimp will be present in warp and weft both, because both are interlacing with each other. So the crimp present in warp threads is known as warp crimp. Waviness present in warp threads due to interlacement of weft is known as warp crimp, and waviness present in weft threads due to interlacement of warp is known as weft crimp. And they both types of crimp we are measuring separately, because both are having difference. Both are not equal or both are not same. Then another term which we are using in fabric parameters, analyze parameters, is most important term related with yarn, that is its count, means yarn numbering system. So it is a numbering system which defines the fineness of yarn, and already you have learned about this numbering system in PTM first. There are two systems, just to remind you. One is direct system, another is indirect system. Direct system means it is expressed as the number of weight units in one length unit, means weight per unit length. That is known as direct system, and very popular counts yarn numbering system in direct is denier and Tex. Indirect system, in this system count of yarn is expressed as number of length units in one weight unit. We can say it is fixed weight system, length per unit weight. And the popular counts in this system are English cotton count, metric count. These are the most popular counts used for in the yarn industry or weaving industry or textile industry. These are the two systems, direct system and indirect system, which we can measure thickness of yarn, coarseness or fineness of yarn, and that is known as count. And it is measured for both the threads, warp wise and weft wise. It is termed as warp count and weft count. Both the counts may be similar or may be different. Then the next term is ply or twist of yarn. As I have mentioned earlier, if you have any question, you can stop me and ask. Otherwise, I'm taking that you are able to understand these terms, because these are very basic terms and very, very common. And anyone can understand these terms with a little bit common sense. But still, you have any question, don't hesitate, because these terms are new for you. So don't hesitate to ask any question. Then ply or twist of yarn. Here we are covering ply and twist of yarn, two things, ply of yarn and twist of yarn. So ply can be defined as number of single yarns twisted together to form a plied yarn is known as ply of yarn. Means हम कितने single yarn, because in the spinning industry, all the time, and we cannot avoid these types of situations or problems. We have to go with, and we have to bear these problems. So ply can be defined as number of single yarns. As I was explaining, in the spinning department on ring spinning, final product is a single yarn. So number of single yarns are taken together and they are twisted either in the post spinning department or after generally in the post spinning department. We are using TFO machines, 2/4 twisters or winding and twisting machines. With the help of those machines, we can twist 2 or more yarns, and we can produce a plied yarn. So how many single yarns are twisted together, that is known as ply, and that we have to find out. Then twist of yarn. Here twist of yarn means having two meanings. One is twist per inch in the yarn, turns per unit length in the yarn, that you will learn in textile testing lab. Another is direction of twist in the yarn, which we will cover here. So generally, we are having twist of yarn in two directions. One is S twist and another is Z twist. So we are finding out whatever the fabric we are getting, in that the yarn is having which type of twist. Either the yarn is S twisted or Z twisted. The next parameter which we are finding out as an analyzed parameter is fabric weight per meter square. So weight of 1 meter length and 1 meter width of fabric is known as fabric weight per meter square in grams. And because when it is measured in grams per meter square or per square meter, a short term is brief for that we are using, that is GSM. G for grams, S for square, M for meter. GSM means grams per square meter. It is a very popular term or popular parameter, popular term used in the industry for the weight of the fabric. It is weight per square meter or weight per meter square, which is known as GSM. And it is the GSM is the weight of the fabric in grams, and how much fabric we are taking, 1 meter length and 1 meter width. So that is another parameter. However, we do not require that much length. Just by taking a small sample and then converting the values, we can find out fabric weight in grams per meter square. And one more term is used in for weight, that is weight per running meter. And this is different from weight per square meter. It is the weight of 1 meter length and full width of the fabric. In the previous case, 1 meter length and 1 meter width. Here we are taking 1 meter length, but the width is whatever the width we are using for that fabric. Different fabrics are produced with different widths that we will learn later on. So here we are taking original width and 1 meter length, and we are weighing the fabric and finding out the weight in grams, and that is known as fabric weight in grams per running meter. Running meter means width is actual width of the fabric, not 1 meter. Another parameter is cloth length, and generally we are not analyzing it because this we are getting from the market according to the requirement of buyer. We are getting this length कि कितना हमें fabric बनाना है. The length of the cloth is called as cloth length, and according to requirement of buyer, length of fabric is taken. But here, to make it easy and to make the uniformity, we are assuming 1 meter length of the fabric, so that we can convert it into any length. If it is 500, 1000, accordingly we can convert it to all the parameters. Cloth width, the width of the cloth is called as cloth width. It is at finished state. This is also known as finished width. Finished fabric में जो finished cloth है, उसका कितना width है, that is known as finished width, and it is measured in inches. For shooting, it is generally 58 inches. Slight changes may be there, either 2 inches more or 2 inches less, but generally in the industry, for shooting fabric, we are going for cloth width equal to 58 inches. Shirting 36 inches and towel fabric 24 inches. So here we have taken 3 types of fabrics and their standard widths. And the last parameter is warp and weft pattern. The order of different color and count used in warp and weft patterning is known as warp and weft pattern. So this is particularly useful. These parameters are useful for stripe and check fabrics, where we are using different color of warp or weft or both. If we are using different color in warp and one color in weft, we are getting vertical stripes. If we are getting one color in warp and different colors in weft, we are getting transverse stripe, horizontal stripe. And if we are taking pattern in the warp and weft, both we are getting check effects, check fabrics. So these are the total, all the parameters which we will analyze or which we need to analyze before planning for the fabric on loom. Before planning of the production of the fabric on the loom, we are analyzing all these parameters. But before starting this analysis process, we have to find out which direction is warp direction and which direction is weft direction in the fabric. So in the fabric method of fabric analysis, first we are going to cover identification of warp and weft. And here we are using the most common methods only. We are covering only most common methods which are generally used for this purpose. So the first is with the help of selvage. If the fabric sample which you are getting, it is comprising of a selvage, then it is very easy to identify the fabric. Threads which are parallel to selvage are warp threads, and those which are perpendicular to selvage are weft threads. But generally the samples which we are getting from the market, they are not having selvage. And then if it is not having the selvage, then it is not possible to find out warp and weft by this method. So we apply another method in the sequence, that is reed mark. And this reed mark is different from the reed mark, the term we have taken as a fabric defect. It is not as a fabric defect. It is a particular type of mark which is assisting us to find out the direction of warp and weft. So, and due to a particular denting order, the warp threads which passes through one dent makes group and are close to each other. And due to wire of reed, there is a gap between two sets of adjacent groups of threads. For example, we are taking denting order, ends per dent 3, then 3 ends are passing through one dent, again next 3 are passing through one dent. These 3 ends which are passing from same dent are coming very close to each other. They are making a group and they are coming close to each other. So the air gap between the threads will be very less. Again, next group is also closer to each other, but in between these two groups, a reed wire is there. So even after finishing, a certain gap is kept in the fabric, is remaining in the fabric, and we can observe the fabric. When we observe the fabric in light, either sunlight or a strong artificial light, the light passes through this gap and appears as warp-wise lines or tracks. That is called reed mark. So when you observe the fabric in the sunlight or in a strong artificial light, और वार्फ-वाइज आपको लाइट पास होने की वजह से वार्फ-वाइज आपको लाइंस या ट्रैक्स नजर आएंगे, and with the help of that you can find out that this is warp direction. Weft wise भी gap होता है, लेकिन that is regular. In every pick there is a regular gap, but here in according to denting order, few threads are very closer, so group is there and then gap is there, group is there and then gap is there, which is not found in weft direction. And according by observing the fabric in sunlight or some strong artificial light, observing the reed marks, we can identify which is the warp direction and which is the weft direction. जिस direction में reed marks आ रहे हैं, warp wise lines या streaks आ रहे हैं, that is warp. But in very dense fabric, sometimes we cannot see these reed marks after finishing of the fabric. Then this method cannot be applied, particularly for when the density is very high. At that time, we are applying the third method. Generally, EPI is higher than PPI. So what we are doing, we are finding out threads per inch in both the directions. और जिस direction में threads per inch ज़्यादा हैं, that direction is warp direction. Because generally EPI is higher than PPI in the fabric. Because lesser the PPI, higher will be the production. Higher will be the production means lesser will be the cost. So generally we are taking a little bit gap in the EPI and PPI. EPI is slightly higher than PPI. And by using this concept, which we are generally following in the fabric, we can find out which is the warp direction and weft direction. But this method is applied generally, means most of the time. But there are some few exceptions or few cases in which PPI is taken more than EPI, when it is requirement of the structure of the fabric. And in that case, this cannot be applied. But generally, most of the fabrics which we are facing in the industry or in our lab, in that case, this can be applied and we can use this method. EPI is greater than PPI. Similarly, weft cream percentage and warp cream percentage, which we are measuring as analyzed parameter, can be also used to get an idea about which is warp direction and which is weft direction. Because weft cream percentage is generally higher than warp cream percentage. Because warp threads are at high tension as compared to weft. क्योंकि weft के ऊपर हम कोई positive control नहीं रखते हैं. Warp threads are positively controlled by let-off and tack-up mechanism, and a constant and required tension is maintained throughout the length of the fabric, throughout the production of the fabric. And warp threads are highly tensioned so that they cannot bend easily, but weft threads are at a very low tension. They can bend very easily. So more amount of interlacement or bending is taking place with weft threads. That's why weft cream percentage is higher than warp cream percentage. So these are the 4 methods generally we are using. Our weft cream percentage and warp measurement of weft and warp cream percentage is a very, very precise thing. It is very difficult to find out exact warp and weft cream. That's why generally we do not apply this method, because this requires a lot of practice to get accurate results. So generally, and our purpose solved by these 3 methods. Generally, in तीनों में से कोई method apply हो जाता है, and we can find out which is the warp direction and which is the weft direction. And just after completion of, or after identification of warp and weft direction, the first thing we are doing in the fabric sample, whatever the fabric sample we are getting, with the help of a pen, we are making a mark, an arrow on the fabric through the warp direction. बिल्कुल फैब्रिक के सेंटर में वार्प जो आपने आइडेंटिफाई किया है वहां पर हम एक एरो बना देंगे, वेरी डार्क एरो. पेन घुमा करके वहां पर हम एक डार्क एरो बना देंगे, सो दैट व्हेनेवर वी हैव टू नो इस फैब्रिक में वार्प कौन सा वेफ्ट कौन सा है, यू कैन सी दैट एरो. और मिडिल में इसलिए बना रहे हैं कि साइड से कई बार हम फैब्रिक को कट करते हैं, अगर आपने वहां पर अगर एरो बनाया है तो वो भी कट हो जाएगा. एंड अगेन यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई द वार्प एंड वेफ्ट डायरेक्शन. To avoid that, in the center, throughout the length of the sample, we are making an arrow which will show us continuously whenever it is required, which is warp direction and which is weft direction. So this is about method of identification of warp and weft. Remaining for other methods remaining for fabric analysis of different parameters, we will try to cover in the next class. So please ask students to join this class, particularly these 2-3 classes, because it is very useful for practical purposes. Thank you, students. If you have any question, we have a few seconds. You can ask. Otherwise, you can ask in the next class also. Thank you.